We are here for a full moon live stream, full moon broadcast. We are here. We are live. We are queer. Get used to it. Feels great. Are we working? I think we are working. Moon broadcast. Ooh, we'll mute you. Goodbye. Okay. So, thank you. Thank you, Hunter. Yes. Okay. You're noticing. Total coincidence. This is synchronicity. This is a supersized t-shirt from Pop Killer in Little Tokyo. And I got it yesterday and I was so into it. And it says strawberry jam. Strawberry jam. See? You want to know the funny thing is that the full moon is the strawberry moon. It's the strawberry moon! And I didn't even mean it. And as if that wasn't, I know, right? Strawberry moon, as if that wasn't cute enough. Who bought strawberries at the farmer's market on Sunday? So I don't know how we're going to use these strawberries, but we'll start by giving thanks for the strawberries and the strawberry full moon. Maybe eating a strawberry. Okay. Well, I'm ready. So, if you've been tuning into these live streams, these live broadcasts, EdibleSpirit live full moon broadcasts, we zoom through a little astrological update, always prioritizing the intuitive read and the usefulness of that astrology over the nitty-gritty of the astrology itself. I get a little overwhelmed with too much astrology, but it's a useful tool and I do use it in my practice. So I try to share the astro moment in a manageable way. I give readings through the elements of earth, air, water, fire, and ether, the 5 classical elements. If you don't tune in, go to youtube.com/EdibleSpirit and subscribe so that you can get the free weekly readings through the elements, also known as the elements of spirit. But we're going to give you readings for this lunar cycle from the full moon to the new moon coming up in a moment. And then we'll see what comes up regarding ideas for ritual, because the whole point of this is that we now have a ritual. We get together every 2 weeks, new moon, full moon, to have a discussion about the astrology, to pull some cards, do some readings, and then to ritualize the moment in easy, manageable, do-it-yourself ways so that you can formally recognize in real time, 3 dimensions, the cosmic things that are going on around us. When we do these rituals, even just gathering here and talking about this, we make a choice to harmonize with the natural cycles of time, the natural cycles of experience. And this helps us to stay more in balance, more in flow, and to manifest magically, miraculously, but also naturally. We are natural-born manifestors whose power grows exponentially when we are in alignment and in balance with the forces that are within us and around us. And one of the best esoteric teachings, the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, as within, so without. Whatever's going on out there is going on in here. Whatever's going on in here is going on out there. Big mystery. So if we take a moment when big astrological stuff happens, pause, get aligned with it, we establish harmony between what's going on out there and what's going on in here. That's my spiel. That's my explanation. That's what we're doing here today. Without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the full moon. It's the full moon in Capricorn. It's when the sun is opposite the moon. The sun is in Cancer. The moon is in Capricorn. Full moons often have a feeling of intensity, a feeling of culmination, a feeling of whatever started 2 weeks ago kind of building and paying off and exploding outwards. It's thought of as a good time to offer thanks and gratitude and to let stuff go. It's a less than ideal time to start new things and bring new things in. So in general, old school witchery, new moon to full moon was a time to do stuff that requires energy that's growing. Full moon to new moon is a time to do stuff for energy that's falling. So we do abundance spells between the new moon and the full moon. We do protection spells between the full moon and the new moon. Zoom, zoom, zoom. You get the idea? Shake your strawberry tits. Shake your strawberry tits. Okay. So what are we dealing with now? We are no longer in Gemini season. As of June 21st, we are in summer. It is summertime. The sun is in Cancer. The The sun is in Cancer now. Summertime, delicious, warm, juicy, emotional feelings. General consensus with my clients, with my people, has been that the week since the sun went into Cancer has been a little overwhelming. Not necessarily because of what's going on, but because of how we feel about what's going on. So it's just important to remember that the sun in Cancer is the sun in a watery sign, a big explosion of water, which is connected to emotions. So pause, breathe, chill, and recognize that whatever you need to do, whatever you're thinking about, whatever's going on, it's going to be a lot easier if you just take a deep breath and let the emotional responses and reactions settle a bit. That's what came up in the weekly readings that came out on Sunday. It was just a lot about how to negotiate this surge of care that's waking up inside of ourselves, the desire to care for ourselves and for each other. It's almost like this week of the sun in the care sector is making us realize like how incapable we are of taking care of the things that we really want to take care of because we're so over leveraged and so overextended and so overly emotional in so many different ways. So the guidance that actually came through earlier this week was to cross off stuff that you know you don't care about or can't care about so that you can redistribute energy into stuff that you do actually care about. And you know, so some people have been having a challenging week as we do that transition. General consensus is that we're starting to make a little more headway, starting to get a little more comfortable in this water. I for certainly am. But now we come to this full moon, which is different, okay? It's different, it's intense. The full moon is in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of the father. Cancer is the sign of the mother. So the sun, and therefore our souls, are drawing energy from this nurturing, caring, maternal instincts, maternal energy. Our feelings, our emotions, the moon, right? And also the planet of Saturn are in the sign of Capricorn. So our feelings are kind of coming up against, our inner life is coming up against society and the public and, you know, the world out there and the patriarchy, you know, all the daddy grandfather vibes, right, are connected with Capricorn. So what we've got going on in the sky right now is the sun sitting warmly in the bosom of Cancer, the mother, opposite the moon and Saturn, right, which are conjunct today, opposite the moon and Saturn, which are on the other side of the sky, kind of staring the sun down in opposition. So when we have an opposition, every full moon is an opposition between the sun and the moon. We strive to find balance between the inner energy, or the energy of the sun and the energy of the moon. So the energy of the mother and the energy of the father. The interesting thing is because Saturn is sort of like the hard-ass teacher, daddy, you know, S&M boss, right? The Dom, daddy Dom is Saturn. We're learning hard lessons about how we feel versus how safe we feel. So we're facing a lot of shit in society right now that it's like, no, don't just sit at home and luxuriate in your warm Cancerian balmy bath. That's not going to do you any good. There's a lot of crazy shit going on outside there right now. There's so much going on outside in society. And we might want to just be like, cool, it's just the moon. We don't feel uncomfortable because of society. It's hard. You know, the moon, oh, I don't feel right inside. But no, Saturn's giving us a clap back. Saturn's like, listen up, bitch. Listen up. Listen to yourself. Listen to your feelings. You're overwhelmed because it's overwhelming. Because this shit is overwhelming. So whole point is that if you're feeling agitated, if you're feeling out of sorts, it's on purpose, because we're meant to be trying to find balance between our inner comfort and the lessons that we need to learn about how we feel about what's going on out there. What do you care about and what are you doing about it? But Capricorn is also, so Saturn and the moon are making us confront, what are we doing about these things that we care about? What actions are we taking? What are we doing out there? It's not airy-fairy. It's not invisible. It's not theoretical. It's really like we all want to take care of ourselves and each other. But it's painfully obvious, Saturn, that something feels wrong. Something feels off about this. Something is fucking off about this state that we're living in. It's not okay. We've got to try to find balance. We've got to try to find evenness. So that's what's kind of in the air right now. So do the best you can to strike a balance between what you care about and what you're doing about that. Don't let it just be a passing fancy. Do something about it. Do something about it. Do something about it. Hang on. That was a little hit. Do something. Okay, that might be our ritual. Do something about it. Okay. So the only other thing I'll say astrologically, and then I'll jump into the readings, is just that the other really, really big fucking deal, BFD, that's happening, is that as of yesterday, Tuesday the 26th, Mars has turned retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So this is giving us a period of about 2 months from here. I can't remember when it ends. We'll talk about it when we get there. 2 months to really think about what are the actions that you're taking. What are you doing? Because Aquarius is really the sign of society, the sign of the public, the collective. And Mars is this planet that represents our individuality, our drives, our desires, what we want and how we go about getting what we want. So we're being given a 2-month period of review regarding how we as individuals get what we want in society and how we as a society get what we want from each other as individuals, right? It's a big fucking review of how and why we do what we do relative to each other, ourselves, and society. So I think there's an affinity here between the energy that we're experiencing really immediately right now. The problems that we think are going on all around us, right? But what do we do about it? This Mars retrograde is the kind of period of about 2 months, which is not that long, but it's a good long influence, in which all of us theoretically are going to be reconsidering the hows and the whys of everything that we do in order to get what we want as individuals and as societies, as a society. This full moon is talking about what do we care about and what are we doing and what are we doing practically in the world to uphold those cares and concerns, those priorities, those cares that really beat in our heart. So in a way, the Mars thing that happened on Tuesday is initiating a 2-month-long period of review of these actions. It's getting a big infusion from this full moon period. So we have 2 weeks followed by 2 months of really looking at what do we care about and what are we doing about the things that we care about, and how and why do we get things as a group, as individuals and as a group. What's the relationship between self getting what they want and society getting what they want, what they need, okay? Interesting cycles that we're going through. I hope that whatever just came out of my mouth is offering you guys some context into what's going on, what's happening within us and around us right now. Hi everyone. Okay, let's see. Right. It's very clear. The only other thing that was in my notes here is that Cancer represents the home in here. Capricorn represents society and the world out there, kind of, the institutions, the world, the public out there, private versus public. And based on everything that's happening because of Aquarius and the media and the internet, it's kind of false logic to pretend like whatever's going on in here is safe from whatever's going on out there. And Mars retrograde in Aquarius is going to reveal why and kind of what to do about it, right? Collective solutions to this, breakdown of private versus public life. And maybe, and this delusion, if you still believe that what's happening in the world doesn't affect you in your home, catch the fuck up. I mean, really, catch the fuck up. Everything that's going on out there affects everything that's going on in here. Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, as within, so without. Got it. Good. Okay. Yes. Okay, so okay, great. I'm gonna pull some cards for you guys now. Let's see. I just want to check in on the YouTubies. Are you saying anything to me, YouTubies? Gio got the strawberry action. Hi, Georgiana. I hope you're still watching. I love you so much. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Okay, so this is for you. So if you have been tuning into the Elements of Spirit on the weekly, you know how this works. We do 5 readings. We do 1 reading for the ether, which is everybody. And then we do readings for the individual elements, the 4 elements, which are connected to the sun sign. So I'll explain that to you as we get there. But for now, we're just going to ask, what is the best way for us to think about, to work with, to engage the energy of this full moon for the next 2 weeks? So this reading will be valid for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so what in terms of the ether, what is the way for all of us to do this? Practical change. So it's the 2 of Pentacles, the 2 of Discs. I'm using the Thoth deck, the Crowley deck, one of my favorites. And this is, interestingly enough, Jupiter in Capricorn. Jupiter is not in Capricorn, but it represents a growth of material stuff, material growth, the change in matters, right? So the idea here, what I like about this, it's very blunt. It's a dense card. It's a 2. It's a low number. So when I say what's the best way for us to engage this full moon energy over the next 2 weeks, it really says there is an opportunity here, not just for the reckoning of the full moon, not just between what's going on inside and what's going on outside and theorizing about it and visualizing it. No, fucking doing something, making a change out there, doing something outside of yourself. This is saying, nah, bitch. The potential for change is real. Change is not even gonna come. Change is here. Change is nigh. Change is now. Change is coming. We can do a lot of change in the next 2 weeks based on the actions that we take about what we care about. But we can also do a lot of change in the next 2 months as we begin to apply the lessons that we learn from this 2-week cycle and then from the rest of Mars retrograde unfolding. But it's dense. We're going to come back to this card as we go through the rest of the readings because we pull the ether card for the now, the moment, the space that we all find ourselves in. We go pull the rest of the elements to give you insight individually. We're going to start with air. Air includes the sun signs of Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. So what is the best way for the air children to engage this full moon relative to the ether card? Wonderful. Okay, well, it says for y'all, it's the Magician, the Magus in this deck. And it says for you all, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. You have all the tools that you need in front of you. Remember, you're airy children. So emotions are not necessarily in your wheelhouse. The emotionality and deep, strong, intense feeling can sometimes overwhelm the clarity of your thoughts. So the guidance here is to focus more on the having and the doing, right? As opposed to the thinking and the feeling. So don't think too hard. Don't feel too deeply. Try to be diligent about the resources that you have available to yourself for the next 2 weeks and put those resources to use. So this card just says you have everything you need in order to change things the way that you want to change them. But you got to be balanced. You got to be centered. You got to be clear. You got to be direct. So focus on what you have and what you're going to do with what you have, as opposed to what you think or how you feel about what you have or don't have, or what you're not going to do, or blah, blah, blah. See what I'm saying? So being, doing, having over thinking and feeling in order to make the changes that you want to make, in order to take advantage of this opportunity for change, okay? Now we go to the fire babies. This includes Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Okay. We get a card here which says, fire babies, you run the risk of kind of walking back and forth, right? Pacing back and forth in a rut. You run the risk of, during this 2 weeks, I think this is a water card. It's the 8 of Cups. It's called Indolence in this deck. It represents a kind of overabundance to the point of being like bloated, waterlogged, kind of like, oh, like I could get up, or I could stand better. I could just keep not knowing where I'm going. So the idea here is that I think this influx of emotions from Cancer season is what's leading to this. And the idea here is just to recognize that if you have been feeling, you know, swollen, sticky, bloated, uncomfortable, out of sorts, not really sure which way to go, use that fire in your gut to remind yourself, you know, all these feelings just pass. Feelings pass. Things are going to change. I can change things. in whatever way I want to. I just got to take this opportunity to change. So in your case, it's similar to the last reading, the air reading. It's just saying whatever's going on or whatever has just been going on, don't allow your kind of emotional attachment to whatever you've just been through to cause you to lose the opportunity for dramatic change in these next 2 weeks. So it's like you have the same availability of dramatic change in the next 2 weeks that all the rest of us have. It's just that if you give in to feeling waterlogged, if you give in to that, please, this is like my resting bitch state, you know, to be like, I'm bloated, I don't feel good. And I got to catch myself and be like, you know what? Just do something, Dmitrovich. Just do something. Put one foot in front of the other. Do something now. And then you kind of, the waterlogginess disappears. It ceases to be valid. So don't give in to that, I don't wanna kind of whiny-biny feeling. It's not necessary. We need your action and we need your, we need the changes that you want to make more than we need your discontent. It's more important for you to be active for the rest of us than it is for you to be unhappy. And at the end of the day, if action can pull you out of your unhappiness, wouldn't you rather be active than unhappy? So we need you, fire babies. We need you to be active. Don't succumb. Okay? Thank you. Moving on to the water children, to the children of the water children. That would be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. What are we supposed to do with the energy of this full moon? How do we engage it? How does it work for us? Okay. So, you know, it's funny. It's the Three of Wands. It's also reversed here. It's the Sun in Aries, which is a very like, ah! moment. It's actually, so it just says to us, like, we're in our natural element now. I'm a Scorpio Sun. It says we're in our natural element now, you know, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So we probably feel a little better than everybody else does right now, just because we're home. This is where we feel, you know, cozy in these rapidly rising emotional waters. It's like, oh, bath, that's nice. But the thing is here is that we might be leading, when this card is upright, you know, the Sun in Aries, the Three of Wands, we might be leading the fray as though we're in charge, right? As though we are the leader. And that's great. That's a very heady brew. But it comes up here and says, in these next couple weeks, slow your roll just a little bit. And I don't even like slow your roll. It says just turn the volume down just a little bit. You might not, I've been shouting this whole stream, but you might not realize how much you're shouting in general. Or if you're tired, this is actually saying like you can turn some of that fire down, turn the heat down, turn the vitality down just a little bit, like expend a little bit less energy. You don't have to be so forceful. You don't have to assert so much. And it's actually saying take advantage of this opportunity for change by not just plowing ahead, by actually rolling it back a little bit, slowing it down just a touch so that we can then, you know, make the changes that we want to make from an integrated and balanced place, as opposed to from a place right now, which probably feels great, but which this card is saying could have us leaning in just a little bit too hard, a little bit too much. It's like we might be so unself-conscious and free and flowy that we're going off in too many directions or expending more energy than we actually need to be expending at this time. So I would just say slow it down, turn the volume down a little bit. You know, keep that nice steady flame burning and that forward motion moving, you know, but just make sure it's not moving forward without restraint and without, you know, measure, without balance, okay? And then finally, we have the Earth Children. Lots of reversals today. It's interesting. So what I see from the Earth card is it's the Nine of Cups reversed. You know, it says, to me, it just says, don't rest on your laurels in these next 2 weeks. You may be feeling comfortable because the sun is beaming beautiful, warm energy towards your opposite sign of Capricorn and to the other earth signs of, you know, Taurus and Virgo. So it's like it seems to me like you guys are almost getting like the backwash of this warm, delicious Cancerian episode that we're having. So the idea here is just to remember that If you are feeling social injustice in your guts, if you are feeling compelled to do something or to act out or to be bold or to speak up, just recognize, it's a simple aphorism for you. Not true for all of us right now, but simple and true for you. Comfort kills when it's completely surrendered to. I don't personally believe that. I don't think that's always true. They're saying right now, don't get too comfortable in this, because you might be getting a wonderful infusion of nurturing energy that allows you to really kick ass and take names and, you know, pay the cost and be the boss, to do things that are important to you in a way that has just the juicy flowiness of Cancer behind it, so that these things which may have felt like you were climbing a Sisyphean mountain before happen and manifest much more easily. So it's just like, try not to get too drunk on summer right now. Try not to get too swole on the ease of Cancer season. Use the ease to just be a little more effective in terms of what you're working on, and a little more direct and purposeful with the actions that you're taking. Again, which has to do with that Mars retrograde in Aquarius, reviewing the actions that you're taking, the way you're taking them, why you're taking them, okay? Well, that's exciting. Okay, now what? You've been given your readings. Now we're going to discuss a little bit of ritual. I think that's good. That makes sense, right? Okay. Yeah. So the only upright cards are this opportunity for change, and the air signs having everything you need kind of at your beck and call. Try not to get overwhelmed by everything. Just do what you can. Fire signs, don't succumb to indolence. Stay on top of it. Don't let intense feelings overwhelm your actions and your ability to make changes. Water babies, you know, burn bright, but in a controlled way. Burn bright, but steadily. And maybe you're burning a little hotter than you need to. So slow your roll just a little bit. Constant self-care as best as you can, so that you can move forward in a measured and a balanced way, as opposed to exploding, popping off. And then earth babies, don't rest on your laurels these next 2 weeks. If you feel good, do something with those good feelings so that others can feel as good as you do. Okay? Yeah, see, and that's the segue. It's been coming in for a minute. The idea here is we're going to make it a really simple fucking ritual this week. We're not going to call the corners. We're not going to invoke the spirits. We're going to, see, I wrote down here, do something about it. Yep. Taking action based on care. That's action in the world, which is the Capricorn, versus the Capricorn, action in the world, versus the care, what you care about, Cancer, which is all about the care. So the idea here is to take action on something you care about. Ideally, within the next 48 hours, right? Do what would be truly magical is if we all did something practical based on something that we care about in our heart of hearts. So what I would just ask you to do is answer for me. If your ritual were to do something that you care about in the world, right? To take a practical action in the direction of something you care about in the world, what would that be? What have you been postponing? What have you been wanting to do or saying that you care about without doing it? What can you do about something that you care about? And please make that promise to yourself to do what you can about what you care about. Something, one thing, one fucking thing. It's not a theory. It's a practice. Yes, yes. Oh my God, you guys are speaking up. Love you guys. Thank you so much. So, yes, so go volunteer at the dog shelter. Someone on Instagram saying volunteer at the dog shelter. So literally that's your goal. Ideally in the next 4 days, but at the very least within the next 2 weeks, go do the thing. We don't need to feel bad for everyone right now. We got to do it. And don't be ashamed if you don't feel like doing the biggest thing in the world. You know, if you're not going right into the heart of darkness, don't be ashamed, and don't let that stop you from doing what you can do. From doing what you can do. Do it. Promise that you're going to do it. Please promise that you're going to do it to yourself, right? Okay. And then, is that it? Yeah. So this is, I guess this is the only other thing I can really do for you right now is these are the strawberries that we got for this strawberry full moon. If you're with me and you want to close your eyes for just a moment and just imagine like a little eyeball right in the middle of your heart. And imagine that eyeball closed, that eyelid closed over that eyeball. And now imagine that eyeball opening and let yourself see me and my strawberries. See us and our strawberries. And I'm going to open my eye and my heart so that I can see you and your heart and whatever your bowl of strawberries is. I see it. I see the fruit within you. Please see the fruit within me. I offer this fruit to you in the form of strawberry flavored love and kisses, strawberry flavored beams of heart magic. And please, 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 Spirit, let everyone who contacts this moment, everyone who is in touch with us now, all of the spirits and energies in the past, present, and future that are connecting with us, and every entity and energy that connects with this moment, this video, or anybody who's watching this and receiving this, please let them be gifted with a heart laser kiss stream of strawberry flavored love. Let it echo through the universe in the highest good of all involved with harm to none. And so it is. And I would love for you to take a deep breath in your nose with me. Hold it for just a moment in that heart and then blow it out that heart. Strawberry flavored love from us to you. We love you.